So first.
Absolutely.
And I was like,
let's dig it all up.
Oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar.
Yes. And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is Also Podcast in the City Edition. Season 1, Episode 7. It's my fucking wedding. That's it.
And boy, is it a fucking wedding.
That, honestly, okay, and we'll get to it. Yvonne was giving Stassi from Vanderpump Rules, and I get it. It's your wedding dinner. But also, it wasn't your fucking wedding. Calm down.
I'm like, okay, I get it, being mad at people, but like, let's not act like this is your one shot at a wedding. This is actually technically your third, because you had your Mexico wedding, you had your wedding date with Lindsay, and now we have this.
And girl, we're filming a TV show. This is what TV is. We got to talk about everyone's issues. What are we going to do on the TV show? Watch everyone talk about how much they love you? That's boring.
Alicia, I always think about that when it comes to people throwing parties and then a fight breaking out. I'm like, you know your party's going to make the cut now.
If your party's being filmed, there better be a fight.
There's confrontation, and if there is confrontation, you're not going to get left on the cutting room floor. So many events get left.
And Yvonne, you should be happy. This was honestly some of my favorite fighting this season. I love it.
Couldn't agree more, especially with them serving around the chaos. I was like, this is so funny.
It was awesome. And then there was like one lady in the back that I couldn't identify that I was like, she's here for vibes.
There was a guy on the other side.
Yeah, I was like, just here for vibes. Anyway, okay, before we get into the whole episode, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. All the links are in our description. And please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Also, speaking of reviews, Meredith, we got 2. And I'm going to give you my favorite one first, because man, is it awesome.
Oh my God, I didn't know we got 2. I thought we only got the one I sent you.
Ooh, are you excited? Okay.
Yeah.
The first one is 1 star. It's from Lucy Dog 29, and it is titled Stop Mispronouncing Eoin's Name, which our bit is we say Eoin spelled Eon.
Which that's not a mispronunciation.
I'm saying it's pronounced Eoin, but spelled Eon. Which, okay, let me read the review first.
Yeah.
Quote, mispronouncing Eoin's name makes you sound ignorant, stupid, and disrespectful. It's an Irish name. Grow up. Well, Lucy Dog 29, let me tell you something. The Irish know that their names are crazy sometimes, okay? I know a girl named Saoirse. You think it's spelled like Saoirse? It most certainly is not. And let me tell you, she's not mad that I took at least 2 months to figure out how to look at her name and then pronounce it. Okay, the Irish know. It's like you've never met an Irish person before, okay? They know that it doesn't come across phonetically. And we're calling him Eoin, but we're saying it's spelled like Eon. Because we have to spell his name 1,000 times a fucking episode in our notes. Okay, so when I type it, I don't type Eon, or I don't type Eoin, I type Eon. The same way when I'm typing together, I type to get her, you know? So fuck off.
Also, this is our second review about us saying somebody's name incorrectly, and I just want to say I love it. It's one of my favorite things, and we love a bit. If you don't like our bits, that's totally fine. I'm not going to force you to stay here.
Leave.
But when it comes to the name thing, especially Eoin, it's going to continue because that man has done nothing this entire show. So we would half the time never say his name.
Yeah. It's
unless
Eoin
it was for our bit.
Eoin spelled Eon.
But here's the thing also, if someday we meet Eoin and he's like, I don't like the bit, then I would take it seriously.
We'll stop. But Lucy Dog 29, you're not really giving Irish, and you're not really giving Eoin or Eon. So please.
Thanks so much, but we're not going to stop.
Feel free to hang up, okay? And then, just to end on a high note, we got Moonbean at 8888. 5 stars.
Hell
titled,
yeah.
Love You Girls. She says, or they say, sorry, I shouldn't assume your gender. They say, love this podcast, how honest and open with mental health has helped me, and love all their takes, they crack me up. We are here to serve. Listen, we are both mentally unwell most of the time. Yeah. We both have depression and anxiety.
mentally well when we gab about everybody else.
And listen, we're not embarrassed about it, okay? If you're embarrassed about having depression and anxiety, those are the only ones I could talk about.
God,
There's other mental illness.
I thought you were having this podcast. I was like, for the first 4 years, we were a little embarrassed.
That's honestly more embarrassing than me having anxiety and depression.
Correct. I talked about my mental health way more openly than I ever talked about my podcast.
Someone's like, tell me about your hobbies. I was like, I definitely don't have a podcast. I have depression. Yeah. 100%. No one. It was obvious I had anxiety and depression, so I wasn't hiding that as well. But thank you so much, Moonbean. At 8888. Appreciate you.
You can stick around.
You can stick around. And apparently you must like our bits. So I hate when someone doesn't like my bit. I'm hilarious. Anyway. Okay, let's get into the episode. So, previously on In the City, Yvonne and Nick finally got married in the state of New York. So, they got married in Mexico, the state of New York, and now they're just going to have another wedding to get married in Times Square. So, might as well. Kenny reconnected with his dad. Eoin, spelled Eoin, is separated, not divorced. Amanda moved out of the apartment with Kyle, and they're still fighting, even though this is supposed to make them fall in love again. All right.
No, truly, you'd think that a little separation would ease some of the tension, but clearly that's not going to happen.
Because the few times you now see each other, you'd think maybe they'll want to hang out, and instead they just immediately start fighting.
Distance does not make these hearts fonder.
Divorce. I know it ends in divorce, but if I didn't even know, I would be yelling divorce from the rooftops at this point.
Yeah.
It hits different when you see their everyday life. Because I think in Summer House, I wasn't always yelling divorce, but I only saw weekends. Whereas like a show like Vanderpump Rules or like The Real Housewives, I'm always yelling divorce at people.
Summer House felt situational. Like, this is just a weekend.
Just summer.
It's just Summer House. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, this is your life.
This is
every day.
Talk about mentally ill. You know what I mean? This would drive me nuts. Anyway. So let's go to West Village. We're at the Garrett at Gavin's bar. Lindsay's here meeting Gavin. Gavin's like, Lindsay, we had boys' night. And then Kyle shows up and he's like, we did have boys' night, but I also have a sensitive stomach. And then Kenny joins and I was like,
whoa.
No, whoa. Who?
What's going on here?
So let's hear about guys' night. Gavin says Eoin, spelled Eoin, was answering questions without actually answering them. And they felt like Eoin wasn't answering even the most basic questions, which
I said that last episode is like, if you can't answer how long you've been married, that's not even a like targeted question. That is just truly what is going on in your life, my guy.
100%. Yeah, he didn't answer, which is fair. Listen, last episode, I was like, he doesn't have to answer if he doesn't want, but it's going to make people question you.
But when people ask you point blank questions, it's weird. Like, some of them ended up being like kind of like group discussions or like, because Gavin, like you said, was chirpy. So like other people were chiming in. But there were some questions point blank asked to him last episode, this episode, and he's being evasive as hell.
Yeah. How long were you married? When's your birthday? What's your favorite color? They're all very simple. And if you can't answer them, I think you're a robot. Anyway. We cut to Danielle and Eoin, spelled Eoin, grabbing drinks, and Eoin is very busy at work. He says it makes things difficult, and Danielle's like, you know what else is difficult? Wanting to have babies, but your partner's still being married.
Okay, I have a question for you. Because we said we were going to look this up at the end of the reunions.
Ooh,
do you think he's legally divorced? Because she said she didn't want to have babies unless he wasn't married.
Okay. I don't know. It's all speculation. From my years of watching Bravo reality TV, no, I don't think he's divorced. I don't think he's divorced. I wish we were opposites, but we've spent a lot of time.
I know, but also like they're not really talking about anything, even in this clip. I'm like, you guys are not giving me any information about your relationship and Eoin. Like, there's no new details I learned outside of Eoin has a busy work day.
And they can't have babies because he's still married. So now I know he's still married, which is fine. But when does the divorce come through? You know what I mean?
Like, where are we at?
It takes a very long time. But I want to know, have the papers been signed by both parties? That's not even first question.
Because, like, that's pretty far along. Have we filed anything? Like, have we started a court case? Have we filed any financial documents? Do we have lawyers? Like, are we even trying to progress through this divorce? Because if
what's
not,
the holdup?
that's weird. Because you could also get legal separation and then finalize your divorce later.
Yep. I just got to know where we are in the process. And also, like, Eoin doesn't owe us that, but just like a little clarification.
No, I disagree. You sign on to a reality TV show and you're getting a divorce and you think you can't talk about it? Get off my TV screen then. You're not forced to be here.
That's true. It does bother me a lot when people like don't give me basic facts. I understand if something like you very much legally cannot talk about it, but this, you could just give us something.
That is not true. You can legally talk about your divorce proceedings.
I was saying like if someone is in the middle of like a crazy court case, I get it. I won't be mad. But this you could at least be like, okay, we filed. You can give me something.
That, basic facts. I understand if you don't want to put your finances out there because like she could get stuff that you don't want her to know, but simple things. I'm not asking.
We're in mediation.
And this isn't a criminal case. Like your words aren't going to be heavily used against you unless you are a bad person and doing terrible things and hiding things.
And even if things are a little crazy right now, you could be like, we're working through it. It's a lot more complicated. Just like give me something. Anyway, so we go back to the garret, and Lindsay tells the boys, if this was a girls' night, they would have figured everything out. Because it sounds like the boys have zero information. But boys are stupid. So Lindsay opens up Google because it's that simple.
FBI agent number 2 is here to get on the internet and Google some things.
So his name is Eoin Heavey, and they look up his wedding date, and Lindsay finds the person that did the hair of Owen's not yet ex-wife on their wedding day, which was in June 2023, 2 years ago. But Eoin told the boys he was married for 4 years.
This is so fascinating. And this is why people need to have their profiles private. Because if 100%. I can find one person, I can find everybody.
Here's the thing. If you're not going to give me information, I'm going to snoop for it, and then I'm going to jump to conclusions. So this perfectly within her rights.
Yep.
And Lindsay says, even though her and Danielle are dysfunctional, Lindsay still cares about Danielle. So she's going to do some research just to make sure Danielle's okay, you know?
And also, this is light research. We are not looking into insane things or rumors. Like, we're not going to the blogs to get information. We are just looking at his profile, his soon-to-be ex-wife's profile, people they know. Like, to just get some basic dates of a timeline.
We're not getting the divorce informations. We Googled his wedding date.
That's not that hard.
Hello, it was that easy. So Kenny's like, hey, I got a great PI that could also help. Well, we all know that's a little bullshit. So Kenny tells so then we go get into why Kenny has a PI, and he tells Lindsay that he hasn't spoke to his dad in 25 years, and he recently found his dad. Well, Whitney did, and now he has met up with his dad.
I'm so happy Whitney got the credit, and Gavin is the one who gave it to her.
Yeah. Gavin was like, your PI
sucks.
Shit, yeah. So Kenny says he feels like there was a weight lifted off his shoulders from meeting with his dad. And Lindsay opens up about not talking to her mom for 10 years. And before that, she didn't talk to her mom for 8 years, and they don't really have a relationship. And Lindsay, on the other hand, isn't interested in having a relationship with her mom. And Kenny and Gavin are like, hey, you two should talk because you have the same issues. And Kenny's like, yeah, Lindsay, you're probably carrying something that you don't even know about. So let's chat. And I was
okay, Kenny, I don't think you're the person to be high and mighty on, like, advising Lindsay on how to deal with the abandonment, because Kenny, you just accepted your dad back into your life, but that doesn't mean that you understand her situation. But I do think they should connect. This is something they 100%. Can bond over. Yeah. But, like, you're walking your path, and you've been on it for 5 minutes. So, like, also, I don't want you to push your agenda on her.
And all situations are different, and we know a little bit more about Lindsay's, and then from what we know about Kenny's, he didn't have any ill will. It seemed like Kenny and his dad just kind of drifted apart, and Kenny was, like, okay with that. Lindsay has been begging her mom to be in her life for a long time, and her mom continued to reject her. So Lindsay has a lot more anger.
That's the thing, is like time and space got in the way of Kenny and his dad. Lindsay's mom literally said F you her whole life.
Yeah. But you should connect. Anyway, let's go to Gramercy Park, where Nick and Yvonne are having a little limoncello. They're chatting about the intimate dinner party with friends that they're going to have to officially celebrate being married. And Yvonne's very upset because, we found out she got laid off and she misses working, but she is happy to plan the celebration. It reminds her of who she is and what she's good at. And Nick's like, hey, I'm here to help and have fun, so let me know. And I'm like, this stud of a husband, my God.
Normally, that does piss me off, but because she's in events, I'm like, no, stay out of it. Like, do not even chime in for 1 second.
Don't even say anything. Okay, so then we go to Greenpoint, and immediately I knew where we were going. We're going to Soft Bar.
Hell yeah.
Soft Bar with Carl and Kyle.
Pumped. I wore my Carl is a mess sweatshirt just for this.
Yeah, he's the best. I mean, we're having NA drinks with Carl and Kyle. Who would have thought?
I love this. I'm so happy he's featured, and I think this is a perfect time to weave him in.
Bring him on the show, baby. Come on. He's
Season
so good.
2, give it to us.
Good. I understand season 1, maybe Carl's not in the friend group because Lindsay kicked him out. I get it. But I think he's slowly integrating back in. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's because he didn't have kids or a marriage. And that's crazy because someone's single life is still a worthy story to be told.
Interesting. That's might be the reason. Oh, yeah. Okay. But he has a bar. That's fun.
I know, because
Gavin's single and has no kids.
I know.
And he's best, dude. Give me a good guy.
Yes. I know. I feel like we should really get Carl because we're not going to get software as much as I want on Summer House. And so this is the perfect avenue. And we're at Gavin's same bar, the Garrett, every other day. So can we mix it up a little?
I think it's because these fuckers don't want to come to Brooklyn. When actuality,
I agree. I'll pay for the fucking party bus.
I'm telling you, it's a time. I thought it was because when they were casting in the city, Lindsay and Carl were still not friends. And Lindsay was like, absolutely not. And now that they're friends, maybe Carl can get in.
I think he'll be on season 2.
100%. Okay, so Kyle is doing okay. His separating didn't really feel real until Amanda left. And Carl really can't believe that they're separated. And Carl's like, do you hope it's going to work? And Kyle's like, that's what we're going for.
This combo was immediately giving me the scene where Carl is trying to decide what to do about Lindsay at the end of season 8. And they're in that little hut talking, just the two of them. And I was like, boy, is the shoe on the other foot. But this should also tell you, Kyle, it's going to be rough when you do the breakup, but you will get through it. And honestly, I feel like Kyle would get through it a lot sooner because he's just going to continue to be whoever he is no matter what. Carl's a little more sensitive and cared about what people said about him, but just power through. End the relationship.
Kyle can also drink his way through the breakup. Carl could not.
Yes.
Carl is sober.
I think Carl needed that radical honesty too, because I think he learned a lot about himself through that breakup.
I agree. And look at how he turned out. Now we're rooting for him.
Yes.
Okay. So Carl asks, what do they want? And Kyle really doesn't know. And Kyle's not able to give a good answer to the question, is he in love with her? And I love that they don't say her name. She's like Voldemort.
But also that, if you can't answer that question, that should be your answer. That's your answer.
But Kyle says he's fighting for it. And Carl says if he was Kyle, part of him would fight until the end. But part of him worries that this will continue to get harder. And Carl knows that Kyle's been unhappy and tells Kyle, no matter what happens, the world will not end. Because Carl, as we talked about, went through something similar with Lindsay, okay? Yeah. And through that whole thing, Kyle was there for him. And Carl, was the bad guy in his situation. But he got through it, and the truth came out. And now he's great. And he's like, Kyle, you're a good guy. You're going to be fine. And I think the main thing here is Carl was the bad guy. Kyle, thank you, scandal, will not be ever at this point.
But I still stand by, the shows tell us. We did not think Lindsay would be a bad guy at all in her breakup. And then we watched Summer House season 8 and we're like, whoa, there are two sides of this story. Their relationship wasn't good. Lindsay did make some missteps. Mm-hmm. And I think in the city, if the scandal never happened, in the city also would have provided that light to give us a little bit of view into Amanda being a bitch.
Well,
and a
let
problem
me tell
in this
you,
marriage.
the moment she busted that door into that meeting and went, I'm leaving right now, I would have stabbed her if I was Kyle. So that
And if
alone,
that hadn't been the exact moment, finding out that it was for $5 million would have really been the nail in the coffin.
I would have been like, he should have divorced her 7 years ago.
On
and
the
they
spot.
weren't even married. They weren't even married then. I can't imagine what his life was like. Anyway, so then we catch Lindsay and Kenny meeting up to chat. We don't get a neighborhood, but I assume it's not Greenpoint that these two are going to.
That is crazy. They're really good about the neighborhoods.
I'm assuming we're back in the West Village. That's my guess.
Okay.
So Lindsay and Kenny are meeting up to chat. Lindsay asks about the worst PI in history. And Kenny's like, actually, it was Whitney. The PI just gave us really basic information, and Whitney had to go off of that.
And Whitney
we got a name.
I can plug this into Facebook.
Yeah. So then Lindsay talks about her situation. So for those who aren't familiar, her mom and dad had her and her brother. And then when Lindsay was 2 and her brother was 3, Lindsay's mom couldn't do it anymore. So she left, and Lindsay stopped talking to her for good when she was 22. They got in a fight, and Lindsay said, I'm not dealing with this selfish woman as a mother. Lindsay's mom would tell Lindsay that Lindsay and her brother ruined her life, and she could have done other things if she didn't have them as kids. And Lindsay acknowledges it's really fucked up because that's a biological parent telling you, and they chose to have you.
Yeah.
Which we did know this is a rough, yeah.
I know. It's just, it's so gross of a parent to blame a child for ruining their life when it was fully their choice, responsibility, whatever, to have them and keep them. Like if her mom, after her brother said like, actually, I don't want to be a parent, but I'm not going to abort this baby. If you want to raise the child, fine. That's the time to decide if you're going to be a parent or not. And then when you choose to be a parent, you need to be there emotionally, financially, physically.
100%. And listen, I can understand some people struggle to do that, but it's no longer about you once you have and decide to keep a child. And we know Lindsay has had this relationship with her mom, and it is absolutely heartbreaking.
But it's unfair to abandon her and blame her for it.
And blame her is crazy. And Lindsay really always tried, at least from what we saw, tried to reach out. And it was always met with like,
there's that innate
negativity.
Yearning to like want your parents to be there for you and to be there for your family back.
Yeah. So Kenny talks about like what that must have done to Lindsay as a person as an adult, because his and his dad's relationship isn't even that volatile, and he's going through a lot and healing a lot. And Lindsay says the issues still show up because like she chooses partners that aren't necessarily healthy for her. And I want to preface what she's about to say. This is where she's coming from, because I think a lot of people are always like, well, that's not what happened. But when you are in a situation, you see things through your lens. So she talks about how like her and Carl did have issues and he was working through them. But at the end of the day, he abandoned her. Right. And Lindsay's,
he did. He left the relationship, and that's her biggest fear. And that is just a fact. Whether it was for the best. For the best or not, he did leave her. It did happen.
And then Lindsay's baby daddy also abandoned her. So, yeah, she doesn't necessarily pick the best people. And Kenny says he can relate to that feeling of abandonment. He was in an 11-year relationship. He got engaged and it didn't work out. And then he was in an 8-year relationship and that didn't work out. And then he lost his mom.
Okay, hearing he was in an 8-year and an 11-year relationships, crazy. I wonder if like committing to somebody is the issue. It's like being in a long-term relationship clearly isn't a problem for him, but it's, I think, I don't want to say making it legal, but like making that next final step makes it so serious like that I wonder if he saw his parents and his dad and it not work out or dissolve. And that's what worries him, is like there's always an exit strategy when you're just dating, but it's a little bit harder to get divorced.
Well, it also threw me because he said he relates to the feeling of abandonment. And then when he talks about his relationships, he says they didn't work out. So I also wonder if the girls left. Because then he compares this to his mom dying, which is another level of abandonment. So it also could be maybe it's possible, right? Like he struggled with committing, but then these girls were like, if you're not committing, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And it was like, you can't work, he wanted almost to work through the issues with his partner, but they were like sick of it. Which is another. I think totally hype. I'm totally making this up.
Assessing it. We don't fully know, but I mean, they did talk about that. Kenny and Lindsay saying they want someone even when they push them away or don't do the right things to stick with them no matter what. And I like totally understand that. Yeah, it's like you want someone to be so committed to you that basically through anything they would still choose you. And I don't want to say like truly anything because like obviously abusive relationships not okay, but like these two, from what I know, are not. But they want through any trials and tribulations or any triggering experience, any bump in the road, like you're my ride or die. And it's scary because like, I don't think anybody is really like that through thick and thin. Like, yeah, people can be married forever, but like there is something that will always tear people away from you. There is something out there that could always tear someone away from you. Whether it's you cheating,
100%.
whether it's like anything, there's a possibility that somebody leaves you, and that's scary.
I also fully understand doing the thing where you're like trying to push your partner away to see how, like, if they'll come
like
back.
Test.
But also I've been on the other end of that as well, and it's almost like, right? Like I know when you're pushing me versus we're going through something together. And I do think there are hard things, but that like you can go through that like people then want to leave because of that. But I do think it's different when it's just like a test form. Yeah. But also like I've given that I have pushed also. So it's like it's hard not to when you're scared someone's going to leave to be like, are you willing to fight for it?
It's crazy because even people who haven't had people abandon them, I think some people go through this. It's just like being in an insecure relationship where you just want to be chosen. And that's a natural thing to want. And we all want that at the end of the day. It's just to be like loved and in a safe relationship. Why does it have to be so hard?
That's why we don't date. Just to lighten it up. That's why we just rely on ourselves and this podcast. So Lindsay knows she's going to battle abandonment issues until she dies, and all she can do is try to manage and control and recognize it. She gets really emotional talking about Gemma then, because she's like, having a daughter, I could never do that to her. I could never leave her. So in her mind, she's like, how could my mom do that?
It kind of sounds like it made it a little worse. Like, you know what you would do as a parent. And I think she's able to funnel the love that she wants to give to her mom into her daughter, which is a helpful outlet. But being able to be like, I would never do this. How can someone do this? I feel like it would make it hurt worse.
But I do think Kenny says it best when he's like, sometimes you become your parents and sometimes you break the cycle, and you are breaking that cycle.
Yeah.
And he says, it seems like Lindsay has a good head on her shoulders, better than he thought. And Lindsay's like, fuck you. Is that a compliment?
Damn. This was crazy to watch them, given how the rest of the season has gone down. But I love when someone can spar with another opponent on a reality TV show, but still see the good in them. Like,
100%.
This show isn't that dark that we can't see Lindsay as a good mom, or see Kenny's pain and his abandonment with his dad and acknowledge it and 100%. Have a conversation about that.
Yeah, and unlike some people, we're not out to get certain cast members, okay? We're here to see what we're given, and we're here to go off of that. And if we don't like you, we don't like you, but if you have a good moment, right? Like this conversation,
I will always
very
acknowledge
nice.
It.
This conversation was very nice. And I don't really like Kenny, but this conversation was great.
Yeah.
I loved it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go to Times Square, where we will stay the rest of the episode, which is the worst part of New York. I'll say it.
I can't believe this. But I will say inside didn't give Times Square vibes, so thank you.
We are at Yvonne and Nick's wedding dinner. Everyone's here, including people we cannot name and stupid Katie DeLuca.
Damn.
Who knew she got an invite,
She even got words this episode.
I know. I was like, is that who I think it is?
I know. I rewinded 3 times.
We'll get to it. But when the words came out, they didn't show her saying them. So I really was like, is she speaking?
Yeah. But also, like, when the camera was on her, it was like her face was giant in this screen because she's like so close to the camera operator. Because they don't care about her. She's not at the end of the table. Yeah.
So Amanda and Kyle are here. Amanda does her
separately.
Hi, Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
But while he is literally talking to Yvonne, who ordered him a drink, they're like chatting and she's like, hi, hi, hi. And he's like, oh, hey. Like,
also,
God forbid I talk to somebody else.
If you are that excited to see your husband, I'll say, the second he walks through the door, go up to him. She, like, it's her voice. It's her voice. It, like,
it's that she stands, like, 2 feet away from him and is like, hi, hi, literally until he answers her. And I'm like, no, stop. You're right. Why can't she walk up to Yvonne and Kyle and go, hey, guys.
Yeah, if you are if you are starving for your husband's attention that much, just go. Why does he have to come up to you? He's saying hello to the bride and groom before he says hello to his wife because y'all didn't show up together. So give it a moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very weird sentence to say that he says hello to different people before his wife.
I feel like she's testing him or trying to embarrass him on this show.
She's trying.
It's not really hitting.
It's not going too well. Things are awkward, but they've always been able to fight through the awkwardness so that other people aren't affected, which they do a terrible job.
I've never in my once have I seen you guys be able to do that.
There's never been a Summer House episode that I've said, thank God Kyle and Amanda hid their fighting from us.
No,
thank
because
God
they don't
we were able
hide
to get through it. Yep.
Producers and editors hide it from us.
But also, they don't. They fight every fucking episode for 10 seasons.
No, there was one season, I think it was season 8, we didn't get a lot of it. And I swear it's only because we had Lindsay and Carl fighting so much, and we had Jesse and West, like, new. And there was so much going on.
That's true.
Sorry, we had other problems.
They actually maybe weren't fighting for once.
I think they did have 2 wedding weekends that summer.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so Danielle shows up in her light pink dress that looks white because Yvonne's immediately pissed. What
did you think about this dress when you first saw it?
It did look white.
Yeah.
However, I knew it was supposed to be light pink. So it was,
yeah. I think the lighting doesn't help it. Like, we're in a dimly lit setting.
Yeah.
But you're like, if I were to watch somebody walk in with that type of dress at any type of wedding function, I'll even say, you're like, ooh.
Here's the thing.
That was just a bad decision.
If you have to question it, just don't wear it.
Just don't do it.
That's how I go.
Same.
Yvonne's immediately pissed, which, can I be honest? I have to discuss this because I wouldn't have pegged Yvonne for the type to be this up in arms about something like this. And there are people I expect it out of. Like old school Lindsay, I think Mother Lindsay, I wouldn't expect it. But like an old school Lindsay, yes, I would totally expect that out of her. Like a Paige DeSorbo, yes, I would totally expect that out of her. I don't know why for Yvonne and her 3rd wedding, I just didn't expect that for her.
That's what, threw me off. I understand if it comes up later in the night and then she's like, hey, yeah, no, it does bug me. But it was brought up first thing she walks in, and this is your 3rd wedding. This is a wedding for the TV show, let's be honest.
Yeah, so I was a little I didn't peg Yvonne, and it's fine if you are that type of person. I wasn't expecting, and that's on me.
I thought this was a pretty chill function, beautiful, but the expectations were pretty low considering it is the 3rd.
Yeah, so Danielle talks to Eoin, spelled Eoin, about how Lindsay's being cold to her again. And it got back to Danielle that Lindsay was Googling Eoin and his wedding. And she's like, I heard in the grapevine, which was Gavin.
Messy Gavin.
Gavin's messy, dude.
Very messy. Okay, that shot of him in his confessional cracked me the fuck up. But similar to Amanda, Danielle, if you walk into a party and you want Lindsay to acknowledge you, why don't you go straight up to her? And if she did and brushed you off, okay, we're not seeing that. That's unfortunate. And we can discuss that. But from what I'm seeing is Lindsay's talking to 2 other people. You walk in and she doesn't turn around and go, hey, what are we doing?
Listen, she's trying to calm Yvonne down because of your light pink dress. Give her a second. Give her a moment. Okay, so we go upstairs to the room. It is beautiful. Yvonne did an amazing job with her third wedding. It's incredible. So Yvonne gives a speech. She talks about how it's been a hard year. She's had to figure herself out again because she was laid off. And she thanks Nick for being there for her during these hard times. And Amanda flicks Kyle off in the middle of the speech.
I was gagged.
You are 12 years old, you dumb bitch. What are we doing?
This is, even though we're making jokes about this is their third wedding, this is not crazy. The time. Any formal dinner where somebody is giving a speech about how much their partner means to them, and you're going to flip off your partner, and you're sitting across from the couple.
Hey, guess who it's not about? It's not about Amanda.
But they love to take over a dinner table and make it about them fighting.
Well, they love to be like, we're not going to talk about us fighting. And then they're going to do shit like that causes them to fight.
That causes every person to get involved into their marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's time for dinner. We have multiple courses. This chef is showing out. He's like, this is going to be an experience like you can never believe. And I was like, I don't even know if I'd like the food at this. That's crazy.
Me neither. But this is one of the first times I've ever watched a dinner on reality TV. And I said, I wish I knew exactly what they were eating.
Yep.
Like what it looked like. I wanted a below deck style review of the food.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Same.
This looked epic.
And instead we had to talk about Lexi and Yvonne ovulating.
Oh my God, I was pissed.
I tell you, this isn't wedding conversation, okay?
No!
If we're going to be pissed about people fighting at the wedding, I'm going to be pissed about at my wedding. If anyone talks about fucking ovulating,
Absolutely.
I'm murdering. It turns into a crime scene at my wedding.
I will say I died when Kenny was like, and how do we all know this? Like, how do we know people are ovulating?
For once, Kenny and I are aligned. Why? I don't know. I don't want to know.
I don't care. What is in this dish? Where's the chef? Bring him back.
It was Andrea that was like, Yvonne's also ovulate. Crazy. Don't know my wife's ovulation skills if I was Nick or the ovulation fucking schedule. I'm freaking
even
out.
If you do, because like your wife tells you, why are we talking about this at a dinner table?
Don't bring up my ovulation.
You're pissing me off.
Okay. So they ask how Amanda's new apartment is. And Amanda's like, it's great. And then Messy Gavin is like, how are the two of you doing sleeping in separate spaces? And Amanda's like, it's fine because normally I go to bed alone. And Gavin goes, oh, because you're always high?
Which I was like, okay, whoa.
First of all, who are you, Munchkin? And second of all, that was so crazy.
That was so out of pocket.
I can appreciate someone being messy and moving the storyline along.
Yes.
This is like a whole nother level, Gavin, because you're just being mean. Like what are you doing?
I appreciate you asking the questions to raise the storyline topics to the surface, but then to like slap Amanda with the like, well, it's your fucking fault, bitch. I'm like, whoa,
because you're always high was nuts. And Amanda's like, okay, yeah, I smoke before bed. I enjoy that. Which that's very
valid.
Normal.
I'm not upset that she gets high before bed. I don't think that I've ever said that this is a problem.
No, please feel free to, if that helps you sleep. I love my sleep. Anything I can do.
Yeah, especially when she was talking about it here, because in the Summer House, Kyle talked about this a lot in season 10. Here, Amanda, it seems like she's just like hitting a little pen one or two times and then like rolling over. This seems even more innocuous.
Gavin made it seem like she was doing crack. Oh, because you're always high?
Yeah, she's like smoking in the corner of the bathroom and then like sneaking to bed. And so Kyle doesn't know she's going to bed.
Amanda, are you sniffing glue? Like, calm down. Okay, so then Danielle gets involved. Weirdly, to Amanda's defense, I can't track the friendships currently.
No, this fight was crazy. I couldn't figure out whose team anybody was on.
It's like one of my favorite fights of the season because I was so confused and everyone was yelling and I had no idea.
No, I watched it twice because also the reactions were epic, but I was just like, there's so much to look at and absorb.
Yeah, so Danielle comes to Amanda's defense and is like, clearly, Gavin, Kyle's the one that told you that. And then we get a flashback that Kyle is the one that told Gavin that. But we know Kyle will tell anyone about Amanda getting high. But
yes.
negate to tell everyone about his drinking. That's the best part. 100%.
Both can be true. Like, if Amanda is getting high at, like, 4 p.m. and, like, nowhere to be found or, like, not helpful or not engaging with Kyle, okay, sure, let's talk about that. But the way Gavin just brought it up was not in any of that context.
Doing it was crystal meth in the bathroom. Yeah, crazy.
Amanda goes to bed early because she's so fucking high, she can't stay up. Meanwhile, is Kyle even there?
And Kyle, he's the picture of sobriety and a good, loving husband.
It's like Kyle has to go out every night because Amanda passes out from smoking too much weed every night. Yeah.
Oh, Amanda's asleep by 10 p.m. I guess I need to go on a 3-day bender. You know. Those are our narratives. Amanda's out here a drug addict, so Kyle has to go take 12 Jameson shots. Oop.
At the bar and come home at 3 in the morning. Fuck. God forbid.
Those are your narratives. We got the drunk and the drug addict, okay? So Amanda's like, well, my smoking weed isn't the issue because when I smoke weed, I don't cheat or do embarrassing shit.
Which I was like, okay, another...
Same. Because, girl, if you're going to stick with him after he cheats... You have to let it go.
And you act like every time he drinks, he's banging some other woman.
Oh my God. Every time he breathes, he's cheating on her. Like, calm down, drug addict. The drunk is okay for a little bit.
I was like, thank God we're not exaggerating anything in this fight.
And then Kyle's like, no, because when you smoke, you don't have sex at all.
And I was like,
what? I had to take a break because then Gavin gets back in it and he's like, hey, Amanda, you're not staying focused on this. And she's like, it's probably because she's high. And Danielle's like, she's very focused on the issue. Which, what's Danielle doing here again? It was the craziest thing.
Danielle is the only one like talking normal in this fight. She's the 100%. Only one who's like, let's level set where this is at. Amanda is on topic. Amanda's blowing some things out of proportion. Kyle's blowing things out of proportion. Gavin's definitely blowing things out of proportion.
Gavin's in a whole different book. He's not on the same page. He's in a new book.
Is Gavin on drugs? Like, what are we talking about right now?
Are we sniffing glue, Gavin? What is happening?
What is in the meal tonight?
And then Georgina comes in and she's like, not having sex and cheating are two very different things. And then Kenny's like...
Yes, but both are problems in a marriage.
Both are issues. And then Kenny's like, I agree. But what about if the person getting high isn't present in the relationship?
Not gonna name any names, but what about the druggie?
The druggie. And then Katie DeLuca comes out of nowhere. And she's like... Well, Kyle's bringing home people at 3 a.m. every night before Amanda moves out, and that's not okay. And I was like, Katie DeLuca, we were talking in hypotheticals until you got here. Now we're naming names. Not that we didn't know.
A one-time thing that was marathon day. Come on.
This conversation traveled so fast from one end of the table to the opposite end, and then... Yvonne whispers to Lindsay and she's like, stop this. It's my wedding. And Lindsay's like, okay.
Lindsay takes it to another level when she goes to Kyle and blindfolds him
with her napkin as he's yelling about how Amanda's always high. And Danielle's yelling about how Kyle's always drunk. And Lindsay's suffocating Kyle with her napkin. This was hilarious. Someone clipped this whole fight and just put clown music on the back. It was so funny.
I need this to be done at the clubhouse theater, whatever they do on Watch What Happens Live. But the problem is we need 17 different guests to be able to perform this scene.
You know this song, the clown song, where it's like do 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 do. That's this.
You know what's happening. I'm on it.
So then Danielle and Kyle start fighting, and Amanda's doing her dumb little smile that she does when people fight Kyle.
I clocked that too. Because also, Lindsay's yelling at him, and I was like, oh, Amanda loves when people yell at Kyle on her behalf.
Yeah, 100%. And then Yvonne is trying to stop this. She's like, hey guys, this is my fucking third wedding.
Third wedding, but still, we have a nice dinner in front of us. Let's get off of Kyle and Amanda, please.
And then Danielle points fingers and goes, Gavin's the one that instigated everything. And then that pisses off Kyle and Yvonne. And Yvonne's like, oh my God, it's my fucking wedding and I'm tired of people fighting, especially people in a white dress. It's like,
which I was like,
new topic, I guess.
Okay.
Let's drop Kyle and Amanda. Let's move to the next one.
Let's start a new fight.
Yeah. So Danielle goes, are you talking about me, bitch? And
I was like, well, yeah, Danielle, yeah, there's nobody else.
The closest one. And Yvonne's like, are you gonna call me a bitch? It's my fucking third wedding. And Danielle's like, girl, you cannot be mad about this dress. I texted it to you.
Which, whoa.
And Yvonne's like, the picture you showed me was pink. This is white. And Katie
that's a lighting issue for sure.
Yeah. And Katie DeLuca's like, actually, it's a pink dress. And no one heard her because fuck off, Katie DeLuca.
Katie, listen, babe, it can, in actuality, be a pink dress, but, like, it can come off white. And so, like, we're not talking about what the seller sold it as. We're talking about if this is inappropriate for a wedding.
Lindsay makes a good point and says if you text the picture and you're on the fence, you shouldn't wear it. And Danielle does apologize for calling Yvonne a bitch. And everyone cheers to the bride. But I think we should discuss this. Okay. Meredith, who's in the right here? Is there a right?
Danielle should not have worn this dress. If you have to think about it,
you probably
just find something else. But also, I've seen online that if you go and look at that screenshot in the photo that was sent, it was like the colors were like highlighted to make them look more vibrant because the plant behind Danielle is like an electric green. Mm-hmm. So if you have to edit the photo to prove it's pink, that's 2 times worse.
Danielle is the number one most wrong because if you have to question it. However, she did text the picture.
And she got an okay. So, like, she's in the wrong for wearing the dress. However, 100%. Yvonne, you are being so pissed as if you didn't know this was coming to you, your party.
Thing. She could have said, she texted me, like, when she was bitching about it, she could have been like, it just looks so white and I'm pissed about it because, like, in the picture it looks so pink. Instead, she's like, I can't believe she wore that, even though you knew damn well that's exactly the dress she was going to wear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it didn't look like hot pink in the photo. No. It still was a pale pink. So when she gets into a different lighting, which is this like muted, dimly lit room, you can't be mad if it leans white. And that, like, she didn't know would happen. Yeah.
I'm not trying to wedding shame. Sorry, Yvonne, I know the bride. But as an event planner, you know how light pink is going to look in a dimly lit room, okay?
Yes.
That being said, Danielle, just for future reference, if you question don't wear it.
Yeah.
Period, point 100%.
Blank. Just should have never been thought about, but once it got okay, Danielle is no longer as wrong for what happened after.
100%. So then Gavin's like, back to Kyle and Amanda, you guys.
The way Gavin is like, sorry, let's stir it backwards. Let me stir the pot back to my issues. We moved on.
His foot is on Amanda's neck, and he will not let up. Because Gavin, he's like, I really want Amanda and Kyle to move forward. And I'm like, no, you don't. You want the storyline to move forward at the expense of Yvonne. In what way?
Because he's not even... If he truly wanted them to, like, dig through some of this, say some of this out loud, like, get some of the issues out, fine. But you're not asking questions to help them resolve things or be of service. You're asking pointed things that are shaming Amanda based on the narrative Kyle is telling you.
You're being a heartless producer, and we see it. Don't think we think you care. Just...
You're doing too much.
We've been here a long time, Gavin. Okay, you're not gonna fool us.
You're no longer just messy. You were a fucking tornado through this entire show.
So Gavin is like, "Are you guys in love?" And Amanda does this whole roundabout answer, and says at the end she says she loves Kyle, and Kyle's like, but are you in love with me? And Amanda's like,
why are we asking this in front of other people? Why can't they deal with this privately on their own? I don't blame Amanda for how she answered this.
And also, at this point, you are at a third wedding. Can you talk about how much your marriage sucks ass?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
God.
Give it a second. Basically, Amanda says she has love for Kyle, but based on the relationship right now, it would be silly to say that they were in love.
100% agree.
Because if she was in love with Kyle, he wouldn't be treating her this way.
Okay,
I was like, girl,
that
we were so close. We were right there.
You could say if he loved me, he wouldn't be treating me this way. But what does your love have to do with his actions towards you?
So then we look to Kyle, and Kyle also gives a big roundabout answer and says he loves Amanda, but he's not in love with her. And Gavin's like, you guys should still be in love in the bad times. And Danielle goes, I'm sorry, Gavin, have you ever been married or in a relationship? What the fuck are you doing here?
And also, they are at their wits' end in their marriage. This is the last stop before a divorce is happening. And you're mad they're not in love?
And how long have you known Amanda and Kyle? Truly. How long have you been?
Why are you their marriage police?
Meredith, you and I are more in tune to this relationship than this man.
I would be concerned if they said they were in love because they'd be big fat liars on top of not being in love.
Yeah. Gavin is like, we gotta solve this right here, right now at Yvonne's third wedding.
Truly. It's like, why is this the priority of the night? It's fixing a marriage instead of celebrating a new legal marriage.
If we don't solve it, Gavin can't go to bed peacefully. So we gotta do it for Gavin for some reason. Even though he wasn't even at the wedding. What do you care? Yvonne gets up because she's upset that this is happening at her third wedding.
And rightfully so this time. Like, this is going too far.
At this point, Gavin going, let's bring it back. That drove me nuts.
Yeah.
So she leaves, and Georgina starts talking, and Gavin yells to Yvonne over Georgina and goes, Yvonne, can you grab me a drink?
Excuse me?
Who do you think you're talking to? Huh?
Even if she wasn't angrily leaving, this is our bride. She's not your bellhop.
Hello? Get you a drink? She's in heels.
How about you walk your short little legs to the bar yourself?
Get your stumps to that bar and order yourself a little drink. And Georgina's like, hello, I'm talking.
Wait, really quick though, sidebar about the drinks. It's crazy they don't have like a bartender or like a waiter to get them drinks, because this comes up later how people are like, we have no drinks. I'm like, this is my nightmare. No. I'm trapped at this table with 8,000 courses coming at me. People are yelling and no cocktail?
Can I say, at this point, Katie DeLuca, you're giving nothing. You go get everyone drinks.
There's our waiter.
Hello? She's sitting down having a meal. How rude, our waiter.
You're enjoying yourself too much.
I don't think so. So Georgina's like talking about her experience and how she took space from someone like Kyle and Amanda, and her partner never asked her to stay, which, Georgina, love ya. But at this point, again, they are one stop away from a divorce. We know they're getting divorced, Georgina.
But this, like, is similar to the Lindsay and Kenny thing of, like, when you, like, push people away and want them to be so committed to you. If you have made the decision to move out, I understand it is nice to feel wanted when you are leaving a relationship to take a break. However, to hold it against the person for not begging you to stay when you are willingly choosing to move out is a lot.
And y'all, I don't know what Kyle and Amanda are telling y'all at this table, but let me tell you, they are thrilled whenever the other one leaves their apartment, okay? They have yet to be like, can you stay 5 more minutes? That's not a thing. It's not a thing here. So then Amanda's like, this is like restarting the relationship. And then Lindsay starts crying because which isn't funny, but also the madness at this table is insane.
But I was like, is she so upset these two are like divorcing, separating? I was like, why is she so emotional?
Lindsay, you've been here a long time. You had to have seen this. If we saw it.
I was like, damn. I can't believe this is hitting you so hard.
She is triggered from her breakup with Turner, which we know is fresh. Once she gives us that, sure.
I agree. However, how is every relationship being talked at this table except for the wedding we're celebrating?
No, I get it. Right? So then Gavin and Kenny are like, y'all, the drunk and the druggie cannot blame each other. This is not the blame game. And Amanda's like, hey, respectfully, stay the fuck out of our relationship. For once, I'm like, thank God.
No,
and
then, you should have said that an hour ago, babe.
And then Kyle is like, well, you're not taking accountability, Amanda. And then, sorry, it's not funny. It's just like the craziest thing. So Lindsay steps in and she's like, both of you want the same thing, but both of your ideas are togetherness and partnerships are very different.
Which and she's so true.
She is like, oh my God. And Amanda, she's like, look, Amanda, Kyle wants you to be a party girl. And Kyle, Amanda wants you to stay fucking home. And listen, both of you aren't gonna get that. It's been fucking 10 years.
She says both of you are right for wanting that, but you guys have a very different vision. And that is the crux of their problems. However, they get so triggered on hearing what their version is that Lindsay says, which is the issues in their marriage completely, like, it's personified. Is Kyle's like, oh, I want a party girl. And it's like, okay, you're missing the issue here, is that you guys are not aligned in what you want in this marriage. No.
And Lindsay's like, you're both trying to change each other. Both of you are trying to change the other one. And Kyle keeps trying to talk over her. Lindsay loses it. She is like, I am in tears watching the two of you demolish this relationship. She's like, I just want to see you both succeed. So either figure it out or stop ruining everyone else's fucking life.
Oh my God. If that doesn't sum up 10 years of Summer House.
Wow. That's how we all feel. And then Kyle leaves and says, for any further questions, Amanda can email him.
And I was like
Jesus,
I don't think you should email him. He loves to write really long emails.
He loves emails.
Loves a 17-page email.
So Nick is like, hey, everyone, remember me? This is my wedding. And Yvonne's crying in the bathroom. Can you please fucking cut it out? And then Amanda checks in on Lindsay because Lindsay is crying. She is
sobbing still.
She's exhausted. Which, I gotta say, I am Lindsay. I'm exhausted of this relationship. I'm exhausted of having to hear about it. It's been 10 fucking years since Amanda was a fucking side piece, okay? Everyone shut the fuck up for once in our goddamn lives. And Yvonne said put a stop to it, and Lindsay did, okay? She fucking ended this bullshit.
I know, but I think Lindsay needed to just be like, shut the fuck up, like stand on a chair and go, shut the fuck up, everybody. Because Lindsay was like, let's close the argument so we can end it, which only continues it for another 10 minutes.
Honestly, though, I thought this was fun. Where we were, I was like, it's over, it's ended. I get it. You have a lot of emotions. Your adrenaline has just crashed.
I understand. Lindsay got us to an end, but that's not what Yvonne wanted. Let's be honest.
No,
Yvonne wanted it to end point
specify.
blank, period.
Listen, if you're going to ask someone else to end something, how they do it, you got to be okay with, okay?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You're hiring Lindsay to do a job that you could have done, but you didn't. So
True.
now the way Lindsay does the job, you have to be okay with it, okay?
Okay, you're not wrong.
Amanda, I am also a Lindsay apologist, so if I am out of line, you can tell me. But Amanda checks in on a crying Lindsay. And then Yvonne comes back, and we all know it was Gavin's fault that all of this went to shit.
Yes, however, every other person did participate.
100%. Including Katie DeLuca. She's not even innocent in all this.
Bitch, you're on the list for the first time.
She didn't even get us wine. Like, what the fuck? And so Yvonne is just annoyed that Lindsay is getting activated at the wrong people, okay? She should be activated and so happy for Yvonne and Nick, but instead she's activated about Kyle and Amanda, which isn't it. And then, so Georgina tries to, like, reset the night. She tries to give, like, a little nice speech. And then Kyle comes back, and he apologizes for everything. And Kenny's like, you know what, bro? I empathize with you. That druggie over there won't get any of my empathy. Which, Kenny, again, you haven't been here for 10 years, okay? What Amanda is doing does not negate that Kyle's been here. Horrible time.
He's been here longer than Gavin
wait, that's
has.
true. Wait, that's true. He's an investor in Loverboy.
He's an investor in Loverboy. He was probably at the wedding. Kenny has a right to speak. However, he's heavily influenced by Kyle and Kyle's narrative.
I forgot. So then Danielle is like, at least people are talking about issues instead of Lindsay Googling things on the internet Which,
I was like, what?
My God, Yvonne can't have one course without
Girl.
this. Also,
girl, so unnecessary. And also, Googling is not a fucking crime.
If the bride was like, hey, you in the white dress, shut the fuck up. You should be quiet the rest of the night.
Yeah, to be honest, if I wore something and then it looked more white in person, I would be the least of the worries of the bride the rest of the night.
The bride already called you out. We're silent
Shut the fuck
now.
up.
And then the bride just came back from crying about how nothing was about her wedding. Just don't bring it up. But you know what Danielle says? She says, me and my white dress are going to go off.
Sideswipes the entire conversation into her relationship, which she doesn't want to be the topic of conversation, yet she forces it the way
this
through.
Is crazy.
What drugs are these people on? It's reminding me of that weed dinner that they had on Beverly Hills where Denise Richards goes crazy. These people are all on something.
We are sniffing glue. That's why Kenny said it. We are hot. They in the vents. Yvonne just has drugs getting everyone.
What was that soup thing that they all drank? It was that whatever you do
it's the chef. Remember when the chef was like, these taste buds are out of this world? Truly, he meant it. Okay, so Danielle's like, Lindsay was Googling my man. And Lindsay is like, are you fucking kidding me, Danielle? And she tells Danielle that the boys had a lot to say about Eoin, so she should take it up with the boys. And everyone's like, why is she saying the boy? The boys are like, what the fuck?
No, wait, Kyle's like, there's a Z on there. She has some tude with us. You didn't catch it.
Baby. And Lindsay says she operates in fact, so she looked up what the boys were telling her. And she says, this is typical Danielle. And Danielle's like, me? If you had questions, you could have texted me. Which, girl, are you kidding?
Okay, listen. You guys are not super close, and there isn't anything... This isn't about your life, so I'm not going to text you. Like, yes, it's adjacent to your life now, but when Eoin got married, I'm not going to text you about that. I'm going to check his Instagram, bop a little bit around, see what I can find, and then move on. And
let me tell you, there's 3 ways that text goes, okay? One is that you actually answer my question, which is the least likely.
I was about to say 1% chance.
2 is that I say, hey, how long has Eoin been married? And you say, why the fuck do you care? And 3, I explain and say, because the boys are wondering, and then you get pissed at me.
There's a 4th option. She doesn't respond, and we are still going to Google this.
Or, you know what? You lie. You lie about it. So,
and everything except for that first option is most likely.
So what are we doing? So Danielle says Lindsay went sniffing to find Eoin doing something wrong. And
I didn't have to look that hard, babe.
Doing something wrong? We were just looking up his wedding.
Wedding date. Like, I find this so crazy how Danielle talks about this, like as if we're looking into a criminal past and like trying to find something. We're trying to find a date and a timeline.
We need to catch Eoin in the act. Of what?
Getting
girl?
Married.
Which Kyle says there was no sniffing. It started from confusion of when Eoin was married. And Amanda starts talking about how, like, there is confusion because Eoin said 4 years and the internet said 2 years and Amanda thought it was 2 years. So there's really no straight story. Which, if Danielle and Eoin were fucking smart, they would just go, it's 4 years or it's 2 years.
The way they both dig into this on this night, like, why do you care? It has nothing to do with you. It's like, it's literally just a question about a date and how long you've been married. What's the issue with answering that, truly? Why are you so sketched out?
It's actually one of those things where it's like not a big deal until you make it a big deal.
You made it a big deal. I feel like they're hiding something now because they will not just point blank answer it.
Yeah, instead of answering it, Danielle says, why does it matter? And Amanda's like, it doesn't, but everyone's confused and we're just trying to clear the air. And Danielle,
it matters because we tried to ask you a question on Boys Night, Eoin. We got nothing out of you. The question persisted. We tried to find our own answer because you wouldn't give us one. Now you're mad because we didn't get to know Eoin and don't already have the answer, even though the only way to do that is through asking you, but you're peeved we're asking you. So what do you want us to do? Just pretend we don't know you?
They do this whole thing of like, well, why don't you just try to get to know Eoin? You don't even know his last name. It's like,
the boys tried.
But what we know about him is that he is married. So we're going to ask about that, okay? If you don't want us to know that he's married, don't fucking talk about it. But guess who brought it up? Danielle. Danielle
but also,
was the one.
The blog sites are talking about him getting a divorce.
We gotta talk about
why is it a big deal for us to ask simple questions?
Yeah, and Georgina's like, so what's the answer? And everyone's like, maybe he's hiding a head in the freezer at this point.
No, truly. I feel like you're hiding more because you can't just say when you got married.
So then Danielle's like, Eoin doesn't know anyone anything. And Lindsay's like, then why is he on the show? And Danielle's like, because I introduced him to you motherfuckers. And Lindsay's like, then why are you on the fucking show? And this pisses Danielle off. She is
because
like,
she's
oh.
missing the point. She acts like Lindsay said, you don't deserve to be on this show. But Lindsay's saying, if you don't want to talk about your life, why are you here?
Why are you on the show? Yeah, no, Danielle gets pissed. She's like, oh, so that's what this is about. And Lindsay says, if you don't want to talk about your life, why are you here? And Kyle tells Danielle and Eoin to stop being so defensive and vague. It's like that simple. And if anyone knows about being on reality TV, it's fucking Kyle and Lindsay, dude.
Kyle and Lindsay hate when people won't show up and be themselves. And it's
those
true.
two give everything.
Everything for 10 years. And you can't give the most basic information, which is how long you've been legally married. That's crazy.
Well, Georgina's like, you know what's even funnier is we've been arguing and we still don't know. We still don't know anything.
We have spent 10 minutes yelling about how somebody asked, somebody digged in, whatever, and they still won't say it.
And then Yvonne is like, hello, it's my fucking wedding. Like, girl, it's like you've never been on a TV show. And
I'm so sorry.
Okay, this is what's going to happen.
We can't put the genie back in the bottle. Like this is argument central. Yeah. We're never getting back to your wedding.
And then Nick is like, hey, we should stop. Hey guys, we should cut it out.
Nick is like, hey, I got married 2 years ago in Mexico. I got married now. That's how long I've been married. Back to us. And everybody's like, cool. Anyways, Owen, how long have you been married?
No, Amanda goes, as soon as after Yvonne is like, it's my wedding, Amanda goes, it's weird how defensive you are. And Owen's like, here's the story. Married in 2021, wedding in 2023. That's it. And Gavin's like, great, you could have said that. Case closed. What?
Can we talk about the flashback of Halloween? Because Amanda, this got brought up and we didn't get that full night. And Owen was like, have you ever heard about COVID? And she was like, all right, you don't need to talk down to me about this.
Dick.
I'm like,
yeah, listen.
What the fuck?
If they're going to show a moment for me to like Owen, it's definitely not that one. Because who the fuck are you?
This has happened multiple times. Where at boys' night, people asked. At Halloween, people asked. At this dinner, people are like, just genuinely, how long have you been married? And they are so defensive every time. I understand that Gavin's messy. However, everybody else wants to know that question, even if it came from a messy source.
I heard you're still married. How long have you been married? That's like a very normal question to ask. Like,
yeah.
And because how long did your marriage last?
Would say how messy that divorce might be. If you've been married for 10 years, it's going to be messier because you've started businesses, you've moved, like your income has probably gone up. There's a lot to fight over.
Yeah, and you don't have to talk down to someone. And also, married in 2021, great. That's post-COVID. So don't, like, come at me and be like, oh, have you ever heard? You could have said everything was booked up so we couldn't get, we couldn't have our official celebration till 2023. I don't know your fucking life, dude. I don't know if you booked everything before COVID and you got married in 2021. Also, a lot of people got engaged in COVID and were married by 2021, okay?
That's the thing. I don't know your fucking life circumstances, and if I try to find it out on my own, you're mad at me anyways.
So why don't you just fucking tell me, you
Answer
psycho?
the questions!
So, yeah, Danielle's going on about how Owen doesn't owe anyone anything, and Danielle's like, we can't talk about the divorce. We don't owe you anything. You don't actually get to know Owen. You just care about his divorce. And Lindsay's like, hey, it's funny because I was actually asking the question to make sure that you were okay because it sounds like your man's a liar. So I was trying to be nice and you didn't do that for me.
Yeah.
Hello? And Danielle, because we all know that Danielle and Lindsay mostly aren't friends because of the Carl marriage shit.
Yeah, moving too fast comments.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And Lindsay was not being mean when she had drinks with the guys. She's like, nobody at that drinks night was being shady or mean. Nobody. They were just genuinely saying that they are confused even more after guys night.
And Danielle says it bothers Lindsay so much how much she's changed. And Lindsay just laughs. She's like, are you fucking kidding? So then Danielle and Eoin leave. And now the dinner table is silent.
Yeah. I will say it did get better.
And they're like, alcohol? Katie DeLuca, get off your stupid chair. Let's go.
Also, in that conversation at some point, Danielle referenced, like, if you ask me off camera, I tell you things. Girl, what?
Then be off camera.
So hidden in your life that you can't share it. Why is this divorce so sketchy?
It makes me think Owen's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Even if he's not.
What's wrong with him?
This is giving.
That you can't say basic top level things.
It's very weird. So we need alcohol. And then Kenny's like, time for me to give a speech, I guess. Which I was like, how long have you known these people? What are you doing here? I was like,
Kenny, what? I understand trying to clear the air. If you're going to be like, here to their wedding, let's go. But okay.
So Kenny gives his whole speech. He's like, love is love. He actually doesn't talk about Nick and Yvonne at all.
Not one.
Then he's like, you know what Lindsay and I were thinking? We were talking about doing a trip. But isn't that fun? And then Yvonne gets pissed at Lindsay because she's like, how could you bring up this trip at my wedding? And Lindsay's like,
I didn't.
Kenny.
No, that was crazy. That she went literally to Lindsay and was like, fuck you.
Yeah, she's like, you're hijacking my whole evening. And then Yvonne goes, I will consider going on your trip. And
that was actually kind of funny.
Jesus Christ. And then Yvonne says she's annoyed that Lindsay hijacked her wedding and this thing sucked.
Okay, like, Lindsay never once was the initiator of hijacking things. She genuinely did try to resolve things when it came to the Kyle Amanda stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, like I said, I think she took too long. However, Yvonne was also in the bathroom during the taking too long, so it doesn't count to Yvonne how long she fucking took.
Also, Kenny's the one that brought up the trip about hijacking or about like
the
going.
Trip. And also,
the trip.
Don't make me give Kenny the benefit of the doubt. It's like production makes them set up the next thing at group dinners like this.
Also,
so like, we have to hit this beat.
First and foremost, Yvonne, on a reality TV show, this is a group event, okay? It's not your third wedding. I hate to break that to you, okay? When you are getting something filmed, you are at the mercy of production, okay? This is not about you. It is about them. And second, this is your third fucking wedding. Calm down, okay? I get
we're not all going to be in the same room for another 4 days, and that's when we're going on the actual trip. So this is the only time for me to share it with the group.
Yeah, when did you want this to come up? And also, give Lindsay a break. I'm a Lindsay apologist. I am.
Lindsay did nothing wrong when it came to Kenny announcing the trip. Kenny also is not in the wrong for announcing the trip because we need that to happen. But she didn't do it.
We're at the end of the evening, and you want us to talk about something fun? You want us to stop fighting?
And flirty
hey guys,
trip.
We're gonna go to Connecticut. Isn't that fun? And she's like, how dare you talk about something else? We cannot please you, girl. I don't know what you want us to talk about.
Wait, did she want the entire night to actually revolve around her? Because even at her real wedding, there's no way every topic of conversation was just the wedding at hand.
Girl, at a wedding, I pay attention to the bride and groom for 5
seconds.
As long as I could. And then as soon as the drinks start flowing, it's about me getting drunk.
It's about whoever's in front of me I'm yapping to. Yeah. I'm holding court.
How many times do I have a very long and amazing time with the bride and groom at their wedding?
0%.
Zero.
Unless I'm like number one bridesmaid or maid of honor.
No, and even then, they have to go talk to everyone else.
Got ready with them.
Hello. Anyway. So, next time on In the City, we're going to Connecticut. We're going to do paintballing. Georgina and Lindsay are going to take the primary because they're moms. And Whitney says that Lindsay always plays the mom card. And Eoin, spelled Eon, tells Amanda and Kyle that they're going to get divorced. Which, for as much as I hate him, For someone who just got here, that's great. And Yvonne and Lindsay have an argument. They have a talk. They go through it.
Here we go.
All right, it's time for my favorite bit. We get to keep one person each in the city and kick one person out to the suburbs. Meredith, it's odd numbers, so that means you go first.
My out to the suburbs is Danielle.
Yep.
That was crazy work to ask about the dress. And then once you're caught and you're looking like it's white dress, you need to shut the fuck up.
Yep.
But when people are asking you very basic questions, why are we attacking them? While also yelling at them that they're not getting to know your boyfriend.
Yeah. Just to change it up, I'm going to go Eoin. Why are you so secretive, my dude? Out to the suburbs with you. Out
you
to the
two,
suburbs.
get out of here. Get off this show if you're not going to
Brooklyn.
Come with the information.
Get out of there. All right. In the city, who are you keeping?
This one's tough because nobody made me happy. And this is going to be a hot take.
Oh no, I know who you're going to do.
I'm thinking Gavin because he gave me the best dinner party I've ever seen in my entire life.
You know what? That's true. That's true. I disagree, but this was an incredible
Summer House
dinner.
Vibes, fun and not fun. Like, this was the funnest experience of my entire life to watch. So thank you so much, Gavin.
I was cracking up. And now forever, I will call these two the drunk and the druggie. That was so funny. Yes. Okay, I'm going to go, just because I'm an apologist, I'm going to go for Lindsay. Okay, she was open about her mom. She really did end the drama. And not that it was funny, but her absolutely losing it. I was like, you can't keep arguing after that. You know what I mean? And I think she was unfairly blamed, Yvonne.
100% she was.
Isn't it crazy it was Yvonne's wedding and we didn't pick Yvonne? That tells you all you need to know about that.
Maybe that's why she's so mad. I mean, everybody else did take the attention away from her.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah.
But she looked beautiful. I have to say, her dress and her hair, incredible.
The venue was beautiful. And honestly, it was quite funny. Her just jumping in and being like, it's my fucking wedding. It was so
I had a great time as a attendance for my TV.
This was incredible. Anyway. What an episode. I love this show. And now
I don't get how people don't want to watch this. I've been recommending it to everyone.
It's so fun. And now I can go see, because we're behind. I got to see what the internet was doing. I talked to Meredith. I might have internet beef with some people. I got to start getting on threads and start arguing.
I can't wait to. I've been avoiding it as much as possible. I'm way more online than you, so I see it when the episode airs, but I try to forget about it. I have not looked at anything on Threads.
Yeah,
outside of the dress gate, I did know all about that, and I was deep diving into the color of the dress a little bit.
Yeah, I might have to be out here because I'm curious to see how some people will defend people that I find indefendable in this episode.
I know.
I'm curious. Anyway, maybe I'll get into internet beef. I got to figure out how to thread. I've never done it before. Not that I'm like a boomer. I'm like, I've never done it.
It's just like tweeting, you silly.
I used to love tweeting.
Well, you do have to pick a topic. You can anchor it to a topic. Yeah.
Ooh, that's what that is. That is fun. That is fun. Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg, I hate that you own this app. I hate it.
No, but I like it as an alternative. It is way happier than Twitter. Like, the vibes are good. And you don't use hashtags. Instead of, like, hashtagging things, you just link it to a thread.
Oh, interesting. The more you know. Okay, so with that, do all the things we mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Love ya.
Thanks for joining. Bye.